So you think you can snatch?
Yeah, maybe just like starting weightlifting, besides like getting a coach and like being really diligent, what are some things to look out for? Hi all, welcome to Coach's Corner, Nerd Talk, etc. We'll find out eventually. This is Ash and Andy, just here to talk about some weightlifting theories. Okay, Andy, you're just starting weightlifting? How often?
I do lift like I'm just starting weightlifting sometimes.
As do I. I try not to talk about it, but it's rather embarrassing a lot of the time. You just started weightlifting.
Yep.
How often and should you be training specifically the Olympic lifts and some of the main accessories that would be connected to those?
I think a big thing to take into account is one, your like movement literacy. So like what you have had experiences with, and that would take into account just movements, like how many movements have you played with? What have you played with? Can you get into certain positions that are required to do Olympic weightlifting?
Yep.
You know, for example, the overhead squat, the front rack for front squat, split jerk, like a split jerk overhead position, or even just having, you know, a narrow grip overhead position.
Yep.
And then your training age and strength level. So if you take those into account and you're someone with a high degree of strength training, but maybe a low degree of movement literacy, so someone who's a powerlifter.
I could weirdly relate to this. Must be someone I know that this would relate to.
So someone like a powerlifter, they have a high level of strength, so they could probably spend a great deal of time playing with the movements at, you know, reasonable loads, and it's not actually going to affect them too much, as long as they're not getting into positions that are injurious.
So you're saying if you're not too competent with like something like a snatch, you shouldn't be going, you should be spending more time there rather than trying to max out your squat all the time and putting all your effort into that basket.
Probably.
I have some things to consider.
But on the other hand, let's say someone who is coming from a CrossFit background, they may have like a higher degree of movement literacy just because they've been exposed to a lot more, but they generally have a lower level of strength.
Yeah.
So because of that, they may not actually need to spend as much time on the lifts, but the time that they spend has to be more quality.
Makes sense. So what would be a good, if you didn't have a coach, what would be a good indicator to know like where you sit on that spectrum of strength or general capability to like specific skill? What would be some good indicators for yourself?
So I think the biggest one is like, can you get into like important positions? So can you overhead squat comfortably with an empty bar?
Yep.
Can you sit at the bottom there for a long time?
Yep.
Can you hold a bar overhead quite competently? Can you front rack safely and effectively?
Yep.
And then can you pause in the start positions of these pulls quite comfortably?
Okay.
If you can do all of those things well, then you can probably, you know, spend time on the qualitative side.
Okay.
If you cannot do those things well, then you're probably more to the other side of the spectrum, and quantity is what's going to really drive your progress
Makes sense.
as a beginner.
Perfect. All right. On top of that, would you say capacity, general capacity, and in comparison to the specific level, as in if you can squat 180 kilos, but you can snatch 30 kilos due to your inability to achieve those positions, that's a pretty easy indicator that general capability is not really where you need to be investing your time.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very like easy. I was trying to give you guys at home just like a little bit more information regarding that, because you might only be able to squat 60 kilos
No,
and be able to get into those positions.
Perfect.
And not be able to get into those positions as
Definitely.
well. So I just wasn't trying to put a numerical value on it.
Absolutely. What I was just going, perfect.
You
That
were
was
just giving
beginner.
an
I was just giving it
explanation.
the you've been doing it for a little bit now. You've been going. You can achieve those positions.
Yeah.
But
So
how well can you?
intermediate.
How well can you achieve those positions? And your numerical value would be a comparison of those abilities.
100%.
So that's the next step. After you tick off those ones, and you can differentiate between your like qualitative, what Andy said previously.
Qualitative or quantitative.
Yep. Like basic like differentiation between your general and your specific strength will be a good indicator of where you should be putting your spending some time.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Excellent. Guess that's why we're doing this together.
Yeah. I would hold your hands if there was no COVID.
I'll
We're 1.5. This is actually a really good podcast studio.
I feel like Avanti just set it up for us. They knew our relationship. They knew what we were going for. And they set it up to suit us perfectly.
Steve's going to be so jealous.
He shouldn't make contact with Avanti to sort this out.
We could have 3 bikes.
We could, but, you know, he hasn't sent those emails out, and that's on him.
3 coaches, 2 bikes. That could be the name of the podcast.
Yes.
One
I don't know why
person
it's
is
inherently dirty, but it sort of is. Like, there's no reason for it to be.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm Andy. Follow me at Train with Andy. Follow Ash at
Next Step Strength, and we will see you next time at Coach's Corner. 3 coaches, 2 bikes, Nerd Talk. If Steve's here, it can't really be Nerd Talk though.
He's a massive nerd as well. He just doesn't wear glasses. We'll have to give him a pair of glasses to wear.
We will make sure his eyesight degrades enough before he comes onto this podcast, onto this little segment.
Yeah. Do you want to do the intro this time?
Not at all.
But you will.
Hello all, welcome to Coach's Talk.
You had one job.
I don't even have this one right. Coach's Talk, Nerd Corner, Coach's Talk, Nerd Corner. I'm not sure which one it is anymore. Can we redo this, please?
No, you got to keep going. This is
Damn
definitely
it.
staying in the cut.
God damn it.